A silence again descended over the room. Ditsy could tell she had convinced him. Second argument, then. You'll also be able to expand your artistic horizons. After all, isn't it good for artists to experience more things, see more of the world, so they can learn more about it and have more material to draw upon? Bounty chuckled. We can experience it all where we live. The Vice Ring provides me with ingredients, cookbooks, and completed dishes from the four corners of the world. When I was studying how to bake sweetheart cakes, for example, the Vice Ring reported a palette of many different types directly from Shuma. I doubt Ponyville can match that. And you have just won Dumbass of the Year award. Please take your rightfully deserved prize and walk out the door before I bite you in the ass. Dude, getting it imported, bringing it from countries, getting cookbooks does not match actually being there and having it. I could copy the dishes from my cookbooks all I want to, or from what I see all the time, but it's still never going to match the way the others have done it, because it is them. It is how they did it. Everybody puts their own spin on things. You as an artist should know that. You fail. In materials, perhaps, said Ditsy, but not in experiences. You can't have done too many writings of the leaves, of the vault, or read the wrap-ups, or even a proper heartwarming e-passage. There's not enough ponies. Then there's concerts, restaurants, plays, museums. Nothing, said Poussat, that I cannot provide. Not necessarily, Poussant. Ditsy's got you in there. Since you don't allow anybody in, all the concerts are going to be performed by the same people. And unless you do mind wipes, that everybody's going to remember the same thing, as is plays in museums. What about nature? Said Shirley. You might have trouble replicating the ever-free forest in the vault, or the ocean, or a mountain for climbing, or dozens of other environments. Stream Dreams tilted her head. I'll admit, she said, that I sometimes long for the open ocean. Stream! Hissed Silver. Stream ignored her. But then again, I fail to see how Ponyville is different. Are there really that many geographical cows within the town limits? Or for that matter, that many museums, theaters, restaurants, and other such venues? We do have these things called trains, Tracy said in a weary tone, as if she was reluctantly showing a futile battle. Trixie is right now replicating my mood. I mean, personally, I'm all for just grabbing the evidence and telling Luna right now. I mean, these people are idiots. Brainwashed idiots, but idiots. And there's going to be no convincing of them unless you whip them. Okay, maybe whipping's too harsh. Unless you kidnap them. And then whip them. But then to attend these events which Ditsy demonstrated, one would have to travel, and that would take time and resources, says Stream Dreams. Whereas in the vault, when we want something, we can have it delivered to our doors. I won't deny that perhaps there is something special about actually traveling to a museum and seeing in the context of all others. But, speaking only for myself, I'm much more likely actually to see that exhibit if I could have it brought to me, where I could pursue it at my leisure. Again, no, it wouldn't be. You would have it there, but who knows for how long. In a museum, at least you would know what you're looking for. How can you be so sure that who you're dealing with would have the actual information, and not just what Poussant is just feeding you for, There's also the matter. Oh, shut up, bitch, said Poussant. That, were you to leave the vault, you will again need to devote countless hours to tasks which are of little interest to any of you. Bounty, I know that you don't want to have to run your own bakery again. Oh no, not that! baking titled Macy's and stuff and such, as Prince loaves and arcade croissants, which you have no interest in, but would have to sell to customers in order to pay your rent. Tim, you would have to be your own agent and publicist again, or manage those ponies that would do it for you. Because you also have to make other duties, chores, cleaning, shopping, helping out at various civic engagements, and so forth. Bones, you might not even be able to see Stream Dreams for much of the day. So busy would you be with other affairs. So he smiled as Bones wrapped a leg around Stream Dreams. I won't deny that Ponyville has its charms and its own unique events for which I cannot replicate. But taking it all together, I personally believe you'll be far more productive artists and far more content in the vault than here. Hey, Vicerine. Are you sure you're not making those slaves? Because that's what it's starting to sound to me! Okay, maybe slavery is too harsh of a term, but every time this woman talks, all I'm seeing is that witch from Rapunzel, Tangled, going, don't go out there. Stay with me, child. I have everything you could ever want. I have everything you need. Why go out there in the cold, dark room where people can harm you and mock you and insult you? Stay here. You're safe. This just feels so icky on every single level. These people are brainwashed. I'm hoping Poussance gets frozen at one point. I really do. I want to see her dead so damn much. See, I've seen characters like her so many different media where they'll just bat their eyes to their charge and say, we're protecting you. We're keeping you safe. We're keeping you safe from harm because out there, the world is sinful. Out there, the world is painful. Frollo, what are you doing in my studio? I don't know. There's just something about Poussance that makes me feel comfortable. I mean, after all, everything she says is right, And what are you doing? Getting ready to hit you with a flame strike, County. You got exactly 5 seconds to get out of the studio before I hit you with one. Oh, right. I gotta get going. Toodles. And is that a Keyblade? Whack! Your 5 seconds are up. God, I love Kingdom Hearts. Timnod. Totally. Sorry, Titsy, but I've written outside, and I've written the vault. The latter's much better my productivity. No comparison, said Silver Sculptress. Of course, you wouldn't understand. You're not an artist. Okay. Alright, who am I going to punch here? Tracy frowned. Then talk to me. I'm a performer. I know what it's like not to have time to polish your craft. You're the protege of the princess, with all that luxury that entails. Urge to kill everyone rising! Silver rolled her eyes. Silver, you've already proven yourself to be a bitch 5 minutes ago. Don't put yourself closer to being written into a death note. Before I joined the vault, I was a copier at a big Manhattan firm. I worked 10-hour days. By the time I got home every day, I was so tired I couldn't even pick up a chisel. I had carved in months before the Fright Street took me in. Now, I can carve in every day. Yeah, and I work a job that allows me to travel and has to give me random weird hours. So sometimes I miss doing what I love most, aka writing and doing live reads. But I still find time because I actually take the time to schedule, you lazy ass. That's it. She's getting a death note. Have any of your carvings ever incorporated details from your company job? Asked Shirley. Of course. Then, aren't you concerned that without access to such opportunities, you won't be as creative in the future as you could be if you were able to go out into the world and experience more things? Silver was silent for a long moment. I'll take that chance, she said at last. I live in the vault for years now. My art's doing just fine. I don't need your help or your events to improve it. Wait, why does this sound familiar? I don't need your help or... Myken, have you come back to haunt me? Ditsy looked away so she wouldn't have to see Poussant's subtle smirk. Well then, she went for the last argument. Maybe the vault has all the art supplies you would need. Maybe it has all the food and drink and clothes and leisure time and anything else. But there's one thing we know the vault doesn't have. The ability to rebel and go against Poussant's? You know, people, right now I'm trying to determine who's the worst vault. Here or Fallout? Right now? I kind of want to be in Vault 101 right now. It's lit, Poussant says. Make that be. More friends. Ditsy looked at each of them. How many new ponies do you meet in the vault every year? 10, 20? In Ponyville there are thousands of ponies, and more arriving all the time. You can meet so many good friends there. Ponies you love to spend time with and play with and have fun with. Friends who can brighten everything and... We love each other, snapped Silver Sculptress. That's enough. Just the 6 of you? No family, no other friends? Ditsy frowned. Don't you ever want more? See what the string dreams of bones. A foe, perhaps? The two glanced at each other and said nothing. Ditsy turned to Orange Green, who was quiet and disturbed. Haven't you wanted to be able to write your family and tell her all about the good things you're doing, even once? My family's nuts, said Tim. They want to overthrow the Crystal Kingdom and restore Sombra's reign. So sounds bitchin'. Mine drove me out of the coop, said String Dreams. Fine, but that's not true for all of you. Ditsy approached Orange Rain. I think some of you would very much like to see him again. Stop it! Silver Sculptress wrapped Orange Rain into a hug with her forelegs, while her wings wrapped around Bones and String Dreams. The airful ponies hugged her as she said, Oh, by the way, Silver, I apologize. But, you're getting the Superboy Prime voice. You're upsetting them! You don't think we ever wanted more friends? Of course we do! Every pony does! But in case you forgot, Ditsy, we're not normal ponies! We wouldn't find any friends in Ponyville! Just more ponies calling us freaks and monsters! Oh, boo-hoo! Cry me a river! That's not true, said Ditsy. I'm different too. You all noticed it. Yet the ponies in Ponyville don't hate me because I have a wandering eye. They're tolerant and kind, and I have many wonderful friends there. Besides the elements, there's Postmaster Silver Script, there's the apple farm at Being Macintosh and Barry. Friends, right! Silver Snorri. Tell me, when these friends say hello to you, do they look you in the eye ever? You know, I would just love Ditsy. You know, this fic would be so much better if Ditsy, at that moment, at that answer, said, Yes, they do. They do look me in the eye. Several times, in fact. Point. I mean, every time somebody tries to bring this type of Straw Hat question out, all they want to do, they act like they can't, they speed up before you can actually answer back. It's like the, well, you've got to admit question. No, I don't have to admit anything. If they do, how long did it take before they could do it without tensing? That's unfair, said Trixie. There's plenty of ponies in town who don't care about Dissy's eyes. Name one. Me, said Trixie. I don't even notice them. As far as I'm concerned, he might as well have two normal eyes. The 4 points looked at each other, and Ditsy could feel that this was the wrong response. No, Ditsy, you're wrong. Tracy is the right response. So he talks to Ditsy like normal. Kind of like how I talk to all my clientele like normal. Well, said Silver, sculptress at last. How charming! You love your friend so much you're willing to pretend that her eyes are different and more acceptable to... I'm sorry! She pissed me off! She really ticked me off that I had to punch her repeatedly. My apologies. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to skip all of Silver's lines because I think I killed her. This is such a lame-ass argument. It's what all those people do when they think they got do a, gotcha, I gotcha. When they have no other argument, they'll take it and turn it around and mess it up so that way you end up looking worse. People with this type of ideology do this all the time. Because they think they're being smarter than you, when all they're doing is going, oh my god, they outsmarted me. Because they think they're being clever, when they're still being just a whiny little bitch. Silver, you are officially the worst character in the Lunaverse ever. You are dragging this fic down so hard that I just want to reach in and strangle you until I can enjoy this fic again. That's how much I despise you. You know, at least with Checker, I'm supposed to despise her. At least with Red Eye, I'm supposed to despise him. But you're coming off as a sanctimonious asshole. To quote a certain clip, get off the cross, we need the wood, you bitch. Pretend her eyes are different, so more acceptable, so that you can make yourself tolerate her. Some friend. Do you even know how little sense that makes? It doesn't. You are making crap up just to make yourself feel better. You are stretching. Here's a straw. You're literally grabbing at straws. A real friend, said Silver, would need to pretend that Ditsy has normal eyes. So, let me get this straight. What you're saying is this. You're saying that if Trixie pretends and treats Ditsy as normal, then she's pretending that Ditsy is normal, and she's being a bad friend. But if she does notice the eyes, then she's still a bad friend, because she tenses up, or ask about it. But if she doesn't, and treats Ditsy as normal, she's a bad friend. So what you're saying here is that there's no way to win. Because Trixie can't treat Ditsy differently. Because that's being bad. But if she treats her normally, that's still being bad. All you're doing is just creating a circular logic to make it so you win. You disgust me. Silver, you disgust me. So damn much. You sanctify sanctimonious. Thick-headed. Cunt-sniffing. Shit-griggling asshole. Go to Tartarus and stay there. God, I hate people like you. You make me sick. A real friend will know their eyes are different and that they're beautiful. And they will not. No, I'm done with you. I'm done with you, Silver. I'm moving on to the real characters, not you sanctimonious bastard. Dizzy's stomach turned. She doesn't like you for who you are, she said before her she could stop herself. She likes you for one superficial trait. Did she know anything at all about you before recruiting you, besides that you were a pegacorn? You sound jealous, mused Bounty. You still have to deal with ponies who are unnerved by your eyes every day. No, I don't. Even to the point of having to pretend that you don't have to the ones who do. No, I don't. Well, we found a pony at Patreon who loves us for who we are and only wants our love in return. You don't love her, said Charlie. You just let yourselves be bought by her. Thank you, Charlie. Hey, said Orangey at the same time Trixie guessed. Charlie! Why, she's right. Silver Sculptor sneered. Oh, and by the way, you hypocritical bastard! Guess what? When you come off, you don't love Trixie for her personality or her heart or her character or who she is. You only love her because she has weird eyes. I have to ask, Silver bitch, if Dizzy had normal eyes, would you even pay attention? Don't answer that, you cunt. You wouldn't. You miserable, slime snarkling bitch. Absurd! Ours is the real friendship! While you pretend to care about Ditzy, we can tell! What, will you hurt your self-esteem if you acknowledge that you can only stand by her by not pretending to see her eyes? Ditzy. Punch her! Ditzy was on her news before she knew it. My friends are real friends, she growled. They actually cared about me. But Blue Sauce doesn't care about any of you. She just thinks you're unique and wants to collect you like a misprinted stamp. And, will somebody please punch Silver? Whee! Every pony turned to Ice Heart, who was starting to cry. Auntie Blue Sauce does love me. She loves all of us. And she protects me from the bullies and helps me find a home. And he trailed off. Stop being mean to her. Sorry, kid, but it's the truth. I think you could deal with a few years of psychotherapy to deal with this. Dizzy felt sick. I didn't mean to, she began raising a hoof to him, but he batted away and fled the room. I mean, excuse me. Dizzy turned to see the bitch had risen from her seat, and anger was placing in her eyes. Please, sir, can I find Ice Heart to bring him to me? She growled. I will soothe him. Yes, Vice Reign, said Posance. Said Pacer, who had been watching the whole argument's stunned expression, hurrying off to the full. And for the rest of you, Posance took a theatrical deep breath. I appreciate your obvious concern for the welfare of my wards, Dame Ditzy, but you have made your case, and seems you would still rather stay with me. I consider this matter closed, and I insist you not bring it up again, lest it be construed as harassment. Ditzy spit back a sharp retort. Furthermore, I will reiterate my wish that you and your friends stay on that wing of the hotel. She rang a bell on the table and allowed. Two burly ponies raced a moment later. Please show the knights back to their room, she said, and secure the doors to this wing. But Vice Reign, began Trixie. Poussin turned away. I will see you all tomorrow when we go meet the Wendigo, she said, and not before. Good day, dames. Hey, guys, can we not do the hero thing just this once and, let Poussin's piss off the Wendigo and see he turns into an icicle? It's still a script, too. I mean, who's gonna miss her? She obviously won't miss anybody. Just saying, can we skip being heroes just this once? I won't hold it against you. Hell, I'll even tell my viewers to turn the other way. Hey, guys, while we let Poussins die, could you all turn around and not look? That'll be great. Thanks. Tracy let out a long sigh when they got back to her suite. Well, that went swimmingly. She glanced at the timepiece in the side room. And we missed our time to contact Dinky again. Ditsy grunted. Fine. Trixie frowned. Ditsy, are you really okay? You and... I'm fine, said Ditsy. Just upset about Vicery and all the rest of it. She scowled. That'll nag. Trixie was silent for a long moment before speaking. Restings first, she muttered, then said more loudly. Look, I don't like it either, but just as you get overreacting a little, I mean, no, I don't. Dissy began to trot back to her room. The fault is evil. I'm going to shut it down, with or without you. Tracy turned to Shirley, who shrugged. We took down the night court, she said. You don't think we could deal with one Viceroy's pet project? That's the point. Ditsy didn't care. She entered her bedroom, slammed the door, and flopped down on the bed as she turned over the argument in her head. Again, Ditsy, I hate that hellhole just as much as you. But Trixie's right. We need to think about this sanely. I'll destroy it, she thought. In response to cold fury, she kicked the log of the fireplace to increase the temperature of the chilly room, pacing in place as he waited and stewed. Vice Ring 2 if I have to, no matter the price. It was over an hour before Ice Heart and the others regained their good cheer, and Vice Ring Poussins was not amused. Oh, not amused! I am so feeling bad for you. The nerve of that Ditsy, she muttered to herself. She retired to her own quarters to rest, but even the luxurious furnishings, one designed for Emperor Sartu for the hippogriffs, failed to calm her. To speak that way to me in mine, it's really beyond what I should expected to hear. There are limits after all. It wasn't that Ditsy had insulted her. That was bad enough. No matter of persistent stature should be subjected to the abuse. But at least she had dealt with that before. She knew well there was no shortage of ponies who yearned to bite the hooves that fed them, and heap coals on the heads of those who guided the nation towards ever-increasing prosperity. Some of them were even members of Poussin's own family, as he had more than enough weary experience at the tantrums they threw, and once he fixed the mistakes they had made with their own lives. But to insult her treasured ponies, their false residents, to damage the happiness and joy Poussins had so carefully crafted to suffuse every aspect of their lives, it was too much. After all, they were hers. She took perfect care of them and tended to their every need. Thus she made sure that each and every one of her treasures was polished and clean on a regular basis. For Ditsy to attack them, to put a frown on their faces for even a short moment, was like a vandal spattering dirt over her fine collections of Shoma faces, or tipping the essence of one of her jewel-encrusted carriages. It was beyond the pale. Poussins couldn't quite stop herself from thinking possible schemes to punish Ditsy appropriately, and though she knew that, in light of the firmer hopes that Luna was taking with the court, most of them would be no longer possible. A mere half a year ago, it would have been possible to arrange for the post office to transfer Ditsy to a colony in the mild west, or to burden her with dates and new regulations that would keep her at work every day till long past the dinner hour, or to audit her and her friends and slap them with more penalties and fines than any pony could bear if they were served by so much as one jangle. But alas, such days were past. Which wasn't to say there was no way for the Viceroy to express her displeasure. She might not be able to attack a pony directly, but she could certainly help those she disliked. Thus, to cause no end of dismay. As she wanted to punish Raindrops, for example, it'd be easy to give more unearned honors and merits to the boss Raindrops disliked so much, Weather Captain Rainbow Dash. She could practically hear Raindrops' teeth grinding as Rainbow was given a parade and medal for her skills as a weather captain, or her discipline in industrious labor. Similarly, she wanted to get back to Carrot Top, so she never needed to. The mare was as bland and inoffensive as watered-down punts. Hey! Only my little brother could say that about Carrot Top. So he could simply give a sizable donation to the Apple Trust juggernaut and neglect the struggling farmers' union. Now, that would cause some envy and more than a hint of frustration. All without arousing Luna's ire. What did the elements do? Complaining that Poussins was helping ponies they didn't like. Well, Poussins, actually, that would be you showing preference. That would actually be raising questions like, why are you showing more than there? I could probably hit you with a couple of lawsuits on that one. Still, if she were to do such a thing, she would have to first find some pony Ditsy didn't like and didn't want to see succeed. That could be difficult. The mayor was generally kind and compassionate. Well, she doesn't want you to succeed. And she seemed to have many enemies. There were the mafia ponies who had done to Dinky, of course, but Poussins was hardly going to put her rep on the line to support common thugs. While Ditsy wasn't in touch with Dinky's father, and that means he would hate it if he suddenly had several good breaks in life. Although, could a concerned citizen argue that Dinky's father should take more of a direct role in caring for her, guardianship even? After all, her mother is always risking knife and limb defying the tyrant's son. Noble and honorable, certainly, but perhaps not the most stable environment for a foe. Perhaps— OBJECTION! Attacks for the tyrant's son would only be an occasional attack. Otherwise, Dinky has a very stable household. Plus, due to the fact that there are plenty of other ponies who are willing to take guardianship of her in that town, guardianship would also go directly to Ditsy because the courts usually find in favor of the mother. Besides, do you know why you're not anywhere near my top 10 favorite fanfic villains? Do you know why? Because if Checker were here, you would be a dead mare. Alright, use not only a bitch, but use a stupid bitch. Without delay, she told herself, as he glanced at a candle starting to burn down. As much as Ditsy had offended her, as much as the mayor deserved some co-op was for her horrible insults toward the Feistring, her attacks on the Feistring ponies, she did have larger concerns. The negotiations, against her own predictions, have been successful. That meant Poussins needed a new plan, fast. Maybe, she thought, she would have to try to sabotage the negotiations. She'd spoken with the Wendigo to the best of her ability, after all. She knew full well the elements were there in part to spy on her, report any declaration of duty to the princess. Besides, she treated her duties, just like all other things, with the absolute best of care. An ill-performed job was just as distasteful to her as a cracked gemstone or chipped vase. Still, she'd been holding out hope that the Wendigo would prove simply too alien and hostile to deal with, and that, after 2 days of genuine effort, she could report back to Luna that she had tried, but simply unable to complete the job. But the Wendigo had cried that last moment, and seemingly agreed to all Poussins' conditions. That meant Ice Heart would be delivered to his clutches, and if he used the opportunity to seize Ice Heart and flee. "I won't let that happen," she muttered. "He's mine!" Why do I want to play Mother Knows Best around you? Unfortunately, she had few options. Some of the servants she had brought with her were trained as bodyguards, but was certain she couldn't fight off a Wendigo. The 7-volt pony, a powerful warrior who was devoted to Poussins, that she would charge the gates of Tartarus themselves as she thought would help the Feistring, might simply bear chances. But she wouldn't bet on defeating a Wendigo. Besides, if Poussins was too obviously hostile, such as by attacking the Wendigo with her own fires, the elements could report to Luna as he tried to undermine negotiations. That would not be permitted. Tracy and the other elements, by contrast, were probably capable of using the elements to defeat the Wendigo. But Poussins knew she couldn't count on them. They were opposed to her, just like all the other ponies who didn't know or care about the wonderful things she's done. Yes, keep telling yourself that. Please keep telling yourself that while you're burning it to Tartarus. Did give the Wendigo the benefit of every doubt, and if Wendigo took offense of that, may still lay Ice Heart before they intervene. He might be willing to favor a beast from the depths of pony ghost stories over a harmless monstrous. But it was true nonetheless. It would take that into account. The problem is, she thought, the Wendigo is a monster, and dangerous to Ice Heart, but has kept that under control at this time. It acted almost civilized for negotiating. If not the Wendigo, I need the elements. But to get them to do that, I need to trick the Wendigo into revealing its monster side in front of them. But how? If I could offend it somehow, anger it, or hurt it. Hurting it might be possible. Hadn't the elements said that true friendship could hurt the Wendigo? The Wendigo was going to approach Ice Heart. That was the whole point. The Ice Heart was another pony that he went to see his father. A pony he shared a bond of friendship or love with. The Wendigo might be hurt. It was hurt enough, it might do something to convince the elements to attack it. Of course, that in turn raised two problems. First, what if he was to find another friend of Ice Heart's to approach the Wendigo with? No pony present qualified. Ice Heart barely knew the elements, and Puissance had no possible excuse to bring other Volt ponies to the meeting. Second, if the Wendigo was angry, some pony would need to protect Ice Heart, while the elements prepared to attack it. Who'd that be? Puissance sighed as the answer came to her. It wasn't a pleasant answer. A high price to pay, but serviceable. And, if her calculations were correct, allowed her to get the Wendigo to reveal its true monstrous spirit without any overt act on her part. Then the elements would drive it away. Puissance would take Ice Heart to the other Volt ponies back home, and all would be well. Her ponies would still be hers and no pony, nor any monster would dare to try to take them away. With a short knot, Puissance rang a bell to summon her servants to prepare her bed. Tomorrow would be a big day, as he was going to need her rest.